Hi everybody, and welcome to the Toronto Real Estate Show. Jenelle and Leslie. And Jenelle Cameron.
Hi there, I'm Leslie Pearson.
And today we are going to give you some tips on how to get a good deal in today's real estate market. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you had a great week and thanks for tuning in as always. We may, just before we get started, take a little break for the remaining weeks of August after this episode, as we usually do for August, and come back in September.
Yeah, I think it's good to take a break, refresh, and come
refresh, and hopefully by the time we're back in September, it's a whole new ball game.
Here's hoping, fingers crossed. Don't like this ball game.
I don't like this ball game at all. I have to say, you and I have been in this business pretty much forever. This has been a challenge for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely for everybody.
Yes, I feel
for real estate agents, for mortgage brokers, for buyers, for sellers, for everybody,
for contractors, for everybody. It's emotionally draining.
Yeah,
I feel bad for sellers. I feel bad for buyers. I feel bad for all the realtors out there. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's a tough go.
No, it's not a good time.
No, but we're hoping for changes to come in the fall months, depending on what report you listen to. Sounds like we could be having some increases going forward over the next month, decreases in interest rates again. They're talking 2 more to maybe make it 1% in total decrease for the year. I think that's what the prevailing thought is at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
So
there recently was a bit of a reduction, and then we don't expect one in August or September,
Apparently
and then
not.
October and November. So,
yeah.
And if they do about the same amount of reduction that they've done so far, that would bring us to 1%, as you said, and that seems to be what people in the know are saying as like kind of the benchmark for change.
Yeah.
Is it has to be prolonged, and it has to be at least a 1% reduction from its height.
Now, wouldn't you, if you were thinking about buying property right now, would you go into a variable rate and think, okay, well, chances are it's going to be going down? I know, you might be paying a little more, but your chances of it going down over the next, year,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. My answer on that was always clear cut, but right now, I think what I would do for sure if I was a buyer is reaching out now and getting kind of locked in.
Yeah.
What are they doing that for? 3 or 4 months now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And when you do that, really you're just getting ready. It doesn't mean you're locked into today's rate.
Yeah.
Necessarily, it doesn't have to mean that. I don't know. What would you do now?
I think, and it's
what do we think?
I have some mortgages coming up for renewal.
So we think they're going to go down.
They're going to go down
another 50, so a total of 1%.
Yeah.
So how does that affect your decision of what kind of mortgage to take on?
I've always been a variable person.
Yeah.
Always.
Because we all, believe in the market.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
I think in these instances, I would probably defer to my mortgage broker.
Well, I always.
And ask him what his advice would be.
I always would.
Yeah.
But I think my mortgage brokers have always been hot on variable.
Yeah, mine for the first time was fixed recently, short-term fixed.
Really?
Yeah, so I renewed one.
For how short term?
2 or 3 year max, but 2, so I did a 2-year fixed.
Mm-hmm.
That was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his advice. So I feel like that was good advice so far. But let's be honest, nobody knows what the hell's going on. They don't even really know.
Nobody, people make predictions, forecasts, but they don't know.
No, they don't know.
And so many times in our experience, if you listen to those too seriously or too closely, the number of times they're actually bang on is non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would say the first thing as a buyer is to take what you hear with a grain of salt.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to laugh because, I poo-poo the CMHC's reports every time they come out with their reports. They are so ridiculous, in my opinion. So for years, they have been saying, oh, this is the year that we're going to have a market crash and prices are going to go down, and then they never have.
The whole bubble. Mm-hmm.
The whole bubble. And I never paid attention to one single thing they said until and they didn't, I think they even kind of got soft on that when it actually did happen. But then they came out a couple of weeks ago and said something along the lines of how they anticipate prices going up in Toronto in particular this year. I don't think they gave an exact amount, but like basically, because we have a shortage of housing and immigration policies and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I was like, that's CMHC. They really know what they're talking about. Yeah, of course it fits with what I want to hear. But yeah, so I don't know, we'll have to see how that all shakes out, but that's a good segue into our topic today, which is, obviously it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
However, there are still a lot of sellers out there who are not interested in entertaining the fact that it's a buyer's market and are still very
sellers still look to what their neighbor sold for in the past.
Right.
And they are having a hard time adjusting to the current circumstances.
They are.
So sellers think it's a seller's market.
That's right. And they really do.
There's this disconnect.
There's a huge disconnect.
Yeah.
But buyers still have the opportunity to get some pretty decent deals out there, and I thought maybe we could walk through a few things that may help them in that endeavor. We did a Q&A about this a couple weeks ago, and I got a lot of feedback about it, so I thought that we could kind of expand on that here. So the first thing I talked about, which we'll talk about, is exactly what we just said: getting your financing in order, making sure you know what you can afford, because if you go in with an offer on something and you've got your financing sorted and you don't need any long conditions, your chances of getting a good deal are better.
Yeah, no, it's the first step.
Yeah.
Always, no matter what kind of market it is, the first step is get your finances in place. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than taking people out to see places before they've done that, and then afterwards they find out those places were not in their budget.
Yeah.
What's the point of that? It's only going to kill you.
Yeah, no point.
But I've done that a couple of times, and I won't do that again because it's just too hard on everybody and a waste of time.
So, like, let's say for argument's sake, the place is listed at $899, and you want to try to get it for obviously as low as possible. If you go in with an offer of $850 and you have a financing condition and a status condition and an inspection condition and every other condition, the chances of you getting the property for that price are very small.
Right.
But if you go in with a firm offer because your lender has told you yes, you can do it, then your chances of getting the house for that price are much better. Well,
yeah, it's a balancing act. Price,
risk
causes at risk. Yeah. So a seller, in reviewing an offer that they receive, is looking at everything.
Yeah.
So if you have all of these conditions and a really low ball offer price, why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they? But if you have a decent offer price, you can kind of get away with some of those.
Yeah.
Or a low ball offer, don't have those in. You got to kind of pick and choose your battles, I guess.
Yeah. And if your financing is ready to go and the seller has no reason to be concerned about your financing, or they don't have to worry about these long conditions, their agent for sure is going to be telling them, take the offer.
Right.
Yes, it's a little bit less, but it's firm. You can close today. The financing is good. Not today, but you can sell it today. Their financing is strong. Obviously, they're on the hook once they commit.
Yeah, I mean, and think about, since we've been in this business, has there been a buyer's market? Like, you have the chance now, you have a chance at the minimum to not be in competition. So, you can negotiate. Negotiating skills have become so important now because there's not 15 people lined up to submit offers, and it's just then picking and choosing.
Yeah.
Your agent's negotiating skills and communication skills are more important than ever.
Yeah.
But also, you talk about not wanting to include long, drawn-out conditions and some wonky clauses. But unlike a seller's market or even a more balanced market when there's competition, you do have the opportunity now to do your due diligence and have some conditions.
Yeah. You do.
Or, so you never would have gotten a place before.
No.
With conditions, but
No.
now.
No, you can.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about getting a good deal, you're going to get a much better deal
if
with
you don't-
less
yeah,
conditions.
Agreed. Yeah.
Especially financing.
Yeah.
Because that's a scary condition for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one condition that we would never have seen in our last
Ever.
17 years, which is sale of the buyer's property.
Right.
And I think that's happening a little bit now.
Could be. I still haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
I hear.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Even
I still wouldn't take that.
Yeah, I know. And
for what reason would you take that?
but it's a funny market, and I took a client to see a house on the weekend, and the buyer did not have a sale of property condition. It was a firm sale. The house sold, but the buyer needed the money from the sale of his house in order to close the deal, and it didn't sell.
Oh,
So there's
that's true.
Yeah, and there's
Interesting.
a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough to worry about, I
No.
don't think, but
And I don't think this is the most fabulous house that I saw on the beach. Is that it sold in January,
right.
and it fell through because the buyer couldn't sell their house, and it was a firm offer. But this one of the ones that if you listened last week, I talked about set an offer date, and it will probably go for more than it did
Yeah.
before.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is fascinating.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's
those
the thing,
people
you
are
are-
like laughing a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
like
Like it just kind of flukishly went in their favor.
in their favor. So
Yeah.
I think they should get a little bit more, and then the people, when they have the previous buyers have lost their deposit, so
Yeah.
they're like,
they're raking it
Yeah.
in.
my
But
client said, well, then they don't care about what we offer. Let's go in low, and I'm like, I don't think it works that
Yeah,
way.
no, it doesn't work. But having said that, I am seeing multiple like I had two offers come in on a condo we were selling, and they were both well under asking.
Oh,
Actually, it's happened to me twice in the last week,
Yeah.
so there is that too.
yeah. So get your finances in order. That's the first step
Yeah.
to being able to even try to get a deal.
Yeah. Okay, here's my next tip for you, and this goes for everybody who's looking out there right now for deals. Look for places that have been on the market longer. And I know this sounds obvious, but we have this thing about, new properties, new listings come out, people want to jump all over them. Those are not the ones you usually get a deal on.
Yeah, I mean, stigma's too strong, but buyers think there's something wrong with the place if it hasn't sold quickly.
Right.
And so they'll want to stay away from it.
Right.
Without even going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily the case. We're just in this market where
Yeah.
some things are sitting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I can tell you, if a house or a condo or whatever has been on the market for a while, there's motivation from the seller.
Yeah,
They want to get rid of it.
yeah,
And I'm not talking a while being like 20, 30 days. Because I do get that. Buyers will be like, oh, well, it's been on the market 2 weeks. Like, well, that's
yeah.
common.
No, but particularly with condos, there are some condos that have been sale for over a year.
Months,
Yeah.
over a year.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with them.
No, it's just the market.
So don't rule those out.
Yeah.
Don't be swayed by this thing going on in your brain that
Yeah.
there must be something wrong with it.
Yeah,
Because-
revisit those, and those are the ones, in our $899 scenario, those are the ones you probably can offer $800,000, and maybe they're going to counter with $850 and get a good
will be
price for
motivated.
it.
On a related angle of the same issue, if you're looking for a deal, don't only look at the ones that are all splishy, splashy, renovated, perfect
yes.
HGTV homes.
Yeah.
Like,
In fact, look at the opposite.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants those right now. The ones that are selling well are the ones that are lovely and present well. And that's great if you're the seller, but if you're a buyer looking to get a good deal, avoid those ones. Those are not, that's not where the deals
Yeah,
are.
because those sellers are more likely going to hold out
Yeah.
for what they're asking.
That's right.
But if something has been on the market a while and it might need a bit of work, there's your opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what you should be looking for if you're looking for a
Huge
deal.
opportunity.
Yeah, and there's lots of those right now.
Lots of those.
Yeah.
Here's another one I was thinking about. Sometimes we, as buyers, avoid properties that are tenanted. And there's a lot of tenanted properties.
Yeah, I do that.
I do that too, because, no offense to the tenants out there, we've all been tenants. Sometimes they don't look very good.
Yeah.
However, if you have the opportunity to get a tenanted property, or put an offer in one that's been tenanted, that you can get maybe even a longer closing because the tenants need longer, you have an opportunity to get a good deal.
Yeah.
Because people do avoid them.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't feel this way, but the way I've always looked at tenants is if there are options that don't have tenants, they're preferable.
Yes.
Because
The risks.
the burden of whatever could happen with a tenant
Yeah.
can kind of freak me out.
But you might be one of those people who can afford to wait it out.
Yeah, if you can afford to wait it out.
And if there's any
In case
problems,
there's a problem.
in case there's a problem, or let's say, for example, because I see a lot of properties that are tenanted and the seller's asking for a really long close to try to help the tenant. And so maybe you look at that as a buyer and you say, 6 months? Yeah, sure, I can do it. Why not?
Right.
And like, what a great opportunity for you if you can do that.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, they have timelines, so
Yeah.
that might work.
Yeah, just going into a tenanted property, the buyer has to kind of think, how am I going to react? How am I going to handle it if this goes south?
Exactly.
Am I going to be okay? Can I live with that? Potential, like rare potentiality, but still.
But it's important to think about.
I think since COVID, tenants have become weird,
Yeah,
and maybe that's lessening a bit now. But I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, that's true. That's an option because a lot of people feel the way I do.
Mhm.
So if people are staying away from a place because as tenants,
Yeah.
there's your opportunity.
And in
You're
addition
looking
to
for the
that,
things people are running from.
that's right, because tenants, if a house, let's say it's a duplex and it has tenants, it probably, doesn't show as well, it's
Yeah.
higher risk, it may not be in the best condition, all of those things, I'd be almost looking for something that has tenants if I was trying to get a really good deal.
Yeah,
Because for all those reasons, you probably can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like basic stuff, I think if you're looking for a good deal, you just, I think, need to be a little bit more flexible and don't get hung up on one place. Because I feel like in today's market, you could go out there and look at, let's say, 10 homes in one day and like 4 of them and bid on all of them. If one doesn't work, go to the next. But I think people tend to get their hearts so involved in one place and that's the one that they want. And I think in previous markets, like I get that, but in this market, remember that you can kind of make any house look like how you want it to with some renovating or whatever. And so try not to get so hung up on one place because then you're more likely to overpay for it than you are if you're kind of like have no emotional tie. So if you go, okay, I didn't get this one, I'm gonna go to the next one and see if I can get a deal there and keep trying.
Yeah.
Right? Like put in a few offers until
You
get what
can't
wanted.
put in more than one offer at the same time.
No.
Unless you
Unless you want to
unlimited
buy
funds.
more than one, doesn't
Yeah.
But certainly, I think it's, even in the days of multiple offers, I used to tell my clients, like, this one's Monday, this one's Wednesday, this one's Thursday, let's do them all.
Yeah.
If you don't get Monday, let's do Wednesday. You don't get Wednesday, let's do Thursday. One of them will work out.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that, except obviously wait till one kind
Yeah.
of falls through and then go to the next. And
Yeah.
somebody offered on one of our listings the other day, and they were very clear, like, this is the one we want, but if it falls through, we're going to go
There's
option
others.
B.
That's the thing. There are others.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you as a seller have to know that
yeah,
too.
you do.
And I think that there's another deal that buyers can take advantage of in a market like this is, unlike crazy hot seller times, when a lot of buyers would be restricted for budget reasons on kind of main thoroughfares or streets on the periphery of the neighborhood where they want to be, or maybe not ideal for other reasons. Now you can buy in the actual neighborhood you want to buy in,
Yeah,
where you can't in other markets.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
that's a deal.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, there is and I think that's a great point. And like the variety and the options out there. Like I was driving along Millwood, I think,
Yeah,
recently, and there must have been about 10 houses for sale.
yeah,
And I was like, Jesus, there's one after another,
Yeah.
and they all kind of looked similar.
yeah,
I don't know what they were like on the inside because I don't have anyone looking, but I thought, you've got choice,
yeah,
and that's a neighborhood maybe you would never have had choice before.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
So get organized financially, be cognizant of the market, and have your kind of search reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
What else can buyers do to get a good deal?
I would say, be open to other communities, because certainly there are communities out there right now that have fallen faster, harder than some others.
So you might be able to get in somewhere where you couldn't before.
Right, or even you might want to consider a place that you hadn't considered because you don't maybe like that neighborhood, or you don't think you like that neighborhood, but now it's affordable for you, whereas nothing was affordable before. So
Right, so if something has dropped more than somewhere else, it's got more room to rebound.
more room to rebound.
Mhm.
And I think that when we rebound, and we will rebound,
Mhm.
we're all going to go up at the same time as we do.
Mhm. Right.
And so it's not like the beach and Leslieville are going to go higher than Lisa. It's not going to go that way. We're all going up at the same time.
Right.
So, but there are neighborhoods that have fallen
Mhm.
faster than others for
Mhm.
various reasons.
Mhm.
Birchcliff is one that I've seen
Yeah.
has taken a hit, and that's a neighborhood that goes up really high
Yeah.
and then seems to come down.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Me either, but I certainly would be considering, and Mimico is another one. These are neighborhoods I would be looking at right now if I was trying to buy a home,
Mhm.
or I definitely couldn't have afforded it before, but I
Right.
would say that, those communities have probably fallen a little bit more than, maybe the beach, which really hasn't
Yeah.
dropped in price at all.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
food for thought.
Mm-hmm. And then I think, as we've said, we always got criticized we realtors, in really strong sellers markets, that all we had to do was put a sign in the lawn and the houses sold themselves. That was never true in my perspective. Homes sold faster and for more money if a lot of effort was taken by agents, and I think there's evidence to suggest that. But regardless, now is a time when your realtor as a buyer, is really critical. And as we said before, their negotiation skills and their tactics and their networking and their reputation, those things really matter now. So I would say another thing to get a deal is choose your agent wisely.
And on that note, and that's a great point, there are a lot of really struggling realtors out there.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of realtors leaving the industry.
Yeah.
And there are a lot out there that are desperate.
Yeah.
And I don't trust their motives.
Yeah.
Then I deal with some total opposite.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you're on our side and you've done it as long as we have, you can really see the difference between the strong realtors and the ones that are just desperate and will do anything for a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I don't blame them. I do blame them in some ways, but I understand their desperation. But as a buyer or a seller, you have to be very careful with who you work with now, because who you work with matters.
Yeah, it matters in terms of that agent's working relationship with other agents, because remember, they're going to be in communication with sellers' agents, not directly with sellers. But it also matters in terms of buyer's relationship with the agent. Like, you don't want an agent who is so desperate that they're going to, maybe just manipulate the facts just to push a sale.
Exactly.
You don't want someone just to have you buy anything.
Yeah.
Like I saw a lot of places last week with one client who lives out of town and just came one day to look for places. And there were, I think, 2 places that we opened the front door and I said, not going in there, let's go.
Yeah.
Agents who are newer, less experienced, low in terms of number of sales, or are desperate, would pump that up.
Yeah.
Would pump those up as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
But, a good agent is going to tell you the truth and say, we can do better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do better.
And even if that requires them
More work,
waiting, more work,
less money,
longer time period. And
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes. We've all been in those positions where you you've been showing these people around for months and months. You
Yeah.
think, oh my God, just hurry up.
Yeah.
And you want to be like, just buy this one.
Yeah.
But of course, the good agents out there will not do that.
Yeah.
And as tempting as it is,
Mhm.
most of us out there, at least half, I would say, like have our clients' best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's the only way to maintain a career.
it is, and I think and your reputation in the industry is really important. And after all these years, do you know I do business with the same people year after year after year?
Yeah.
And it just
you
shows
know
you how
what
few
you're gonna
people
get.
actually do business. And even though some of them don't work anywhere near, like I dealt with a guy, the person that put an offer in on my place. On one of the condos last week, he works in North York at some brokerage, like I don't even know, but like when I went to text him, I realized over the years him and I have been in text communication for years over different properties, and it was just a reminder to me that the good people last, and it's always the same people.
Yeah.
It's
It's funny how that
interesting.
happens. The same perk buyer I took to see a lot of places, and one of the listing agents was from way out in Mississauga, and I had a question, so I texted her, and then so when I went to text her, I found a long chain
Yeah,
of
right.
previous messages.
That's the same.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't even remember the properties they were on.
Yes,
but-
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's the same people that stick around.
Yeah.
And I think.
Yeah, and similarly on the other side, if you're a seller, be careful in who you're choosing to be your listing agent, because not as many homes are selling and they're taking longer to sell. There are some agents out there who will propose things or cut corners or in order to be the one that sells.
That's right.
So it's a time really to be careful.
Yeah,
about who
keep
you
your
work
guard
with.
up. You don't want
Yeah.
to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, listen, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up, and we will wish you all a happy August as well.
Yeah.
And talk to you in September with great real estate news, I'm sure. Hopefully, with sales galore, and, because we'll probably reconvene right after Labor Day.
Right. So I, in fact, wouldn't expect a lot of sales in August.
Well, we're hopeful. We're hopeful.
I think they might be in the fall. So we'll be coming back excited about what will be to come.
Yeah, I think so. We'll definitely have a different perspective of
Yeah.
things by then.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, everyone, as always, we really, 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 really appreciate it when you take the time to rate us, leave a review, give us 5 stars, please, and also, leave a comment or some feedback. We love that. Also appreciate it when you follow our social channels at the Jenelle Cameron team. And we're here if you have any questions over the month of August.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Me either.
I'm going to Nashville.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't know.
I was just talking about it. I wanted to go there.
Oh, what? You haven't been there?
I've never been there.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah.
After.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much again, and we wish you happy real estate.
Happy real estate, everyone.